say culture is a word for the way of life of group of people, meaning the way they do things. Different groups may have different cultures. A culture is passed on to the next generation by learning, whereas genetics are passed on by heredity. Culture is seen in people's writing, religion, music, clothes, cooking, and whatever they do. It is the collective programming of the mind which distinguishes the member of one group or category of people from another. It's a collective phenomena because it is the latest, or because it's the least partly shared with people who live or lived within the social environment, which is where it was learned. Culture is learned, not inherited. It derives from one's social environment, one from one's genes. It's definitely not from the genes. We get it from the society. We get it where we live. We see things, and then we pick culture accordingly. Culture should be distinguished from human nature on one side and from the individual personality on the other side. So as I was mentioning, there are different dimensions of culture. The first 4 problems represents the dimensions of culture. The basic problem area corresponds to dimension, which Hofstede named as power distance. The second one is collectivism versus individualism. The third one is femininity versus masculinity. And the fourth one is uncertainty avoidance. Now these are the 4 problems from where culture actually derives. More recently, a 5th dimension of difference among national cultures was identified, which is known as long-term orientation. Let's understand each of these problems in little more detail and figure out how this works, what are their characteristics, and how we should behave when such characteristics prevail. When I say power distance, this refers to the degree of inequality that prevails in the society and that is accepted by the people with or without power. A high power distance score indicates that society accepts an unequal distribution of power and people understand their places in the system. Low power distance means the power is shared and well dispersed. So when I say the score of power distance is high, the characteristics it displays is organizations are centralized. They have strong hierarchy, vast gap in authority and compensation and respect. During these times, leaders' power should be acknowledged, and you should ensure that you have to go to the top for answers. When the power distance score is low, the characteristics it displays is typically like organizations are flatter. Supervisors and employees are treated equal. And this time, the way we should behave is, we should work towards use of teamwork. More people are involved in decision making. The second problem we're talking about is individualism. Individualism, this refers to the strength of relationship which people have towards others in the community. When there is high individualism, there is loose connections, lack of interpersonal connections, and little responsibility sharing. A society with a low individualism score would have strong group cohesion, and there would be a large amount of loyalty and respect for members of the group. So when the individualism score is high, the characteristics it displays are people's time and their needs are highly valued. Rewards for hard work are expected. So during these times, we should be acknowledge accomplishments, don't ask for too much personal information, and encourage debate and expressions of own ideas. And when individualism score is low, the characteristics it displays is building skills and developing masters on something. Work for intrinsic rewards, importance is given for harmony, then honesty. And during these times, we should ensure that respect should be given for age and wisdom. Respect traditions and introduce change slowly. Don't show feelings and emotions much, since the individualism score is low. The third one is masculinity. This refers to how much a society goes hand in hand with the roles of men and women. High masculinity scores are found in countries where men are expected to be tough, assertive, and strong. Low masculinity scores do not reverse the gender roles. In a low masculinity society, the roles are simply blurred. Men are allowed to be sensitive, and women work hard for professional success. So when masculinity score is high, the characteristics it displays is men are masculine and women are feminine. There is a clear distinction between men's work and women's work. The way we should work towards during these times is people expect role of male and female to be different. Men should not discuss emotions or make emotionally based decisions. But when score of masculinity is low, a woman can do everything and whatever a man does. Powerful and successful women are respected. So during these times, we should give equal treatment for men and women, ensure job design and practices are not discriminatory to either genders.
The fourth problem is uncertainty avoidance.
Now this relates to the degree of anxiety society members feel when in uncertain or unknown situations come across. High uncertainty avoidance score, nations try to avoid ambiguous situations whatever possible. Low uncertainty avoidance scores indicate the society enjoys novel events and value differences. So when the score of uncertainty avoidance is high, the characteristics it display is formal business with lots of rules and policies would prevail. Sense of nervousness spurns high level of emotions and expressions. Differences are avoided. During these times, we should be clear with our expectations and parameters, express emotions through hands, gestures and raised voices. Provide detailed plans and focus on tactical aspects of jobs or projects that are in hand. And when the score is low, informal business attitudes with importance given to long-term strategy, then what is happening on a daily basis. Changes and risks are accepted. So during these times, rules should not be imposed unnecessarily. Emotion should be minimized, and when there is any differences, express curiosity. The fifth one is long-term orientation. This refers to how a society will value its traditions and values in the long term. In countries with high long-term orientation score, delivering on social obligations and avoiding loss of face are considered very important. This was introduced in 1990 when there was differences between Asian countries and Western countries on Confucian philosophies. So when the characteristics displays when the score of long-term orientation is high are like parents have more power than young people and women. Family is the basis for the society, and importance is given for education and training. During these times, traditions should be respected, reward perseverance, loyalty and commitment. Avoid doing anything that would cause another to lose face is important during these times. When the long-term orientation score is low, promotion of equality happens then. High creativity and individualism will prevail. Treat others as you would like to be treated is what is important. And during these times, we should respect others, introduce necessary changes wherever possible, live by the same standards and rules that you create. So there are few key values of work cultures. In fact, there are a lot of those things. Let's understand this in a little more detail. When I say work culture, the work culture of an organization is a product of its history, traditions, values, and vision. A pattern of basic group assumption that has worked well to be considered valid and therefore is taught to new members as the correct way to perceive, think, and feel. So key values, as I said, there are many, like for example, accountability, adaptability, collaboration, collegiality. Collegiality, when I say it,
is basically companionship and cooperation between colleagues who share equal responsibilities.
Commitment, continuous improvement on quality, courtesy and respect, diversity, effective communication, empowerment of equity, excellence, flexibility, good morale, innovation, professionalism, quality, recognition and rewards, risk taking. These are a few of the key values of work culture. I can go on, it could be scholarship, it could be service oriented, it could be trust, in fact. So keeping these key values of work culture is pretty critical. And now once we know these are the values, how do we improve employee culture? Employees arrive at work each day to get the job done, but improving employee culture can make it mean much more for them. Employees spend much of their day at their workplace, and implementing a good culture and unified vision will make them feel that they are part of the organization than simply earning a salary or a paycheck. Choose to make improving employees' culture an important part of management philosophy. Employees should be involved in decision-making process. Involving employees on a global level makes them feel valued and an integral part of the systems in which they work each day. Gaining and retaining employees' trust is very important. The entire process of organization will break down if there is a lack of trust and faith. We should offer professional trainings and enrichment courses to ensure that all employees know that you have faith in the growth within the company. It is a good idea to ask employees to contribute for news, articles, feedbacks, announcements, and many other things in the company's newsletters. Communicate and interact with your employees regularly to understand how they operate and share with them how you operate. Acknowledge and celebrate individual and team successes. When you and your employees have created a culture that has directly garnered success for your company, take the time, effort and energy to recognize and celebrate the same. Now this is a few of the ways how you could improve employee culture. Cultural behavior in workplace is also important. There are few aspects that determine these things. For example, for developing a positive work culture wherein the objective could be to develop familiarity with factors influencing work and culture, to appreciate the use of measurement of work culture, to analyze the relationship between work culture and performance of department or organization, to develop skills and values for developing work culture. When I say culture at work, there are basically 5 F. The first one is focused. The organization remains strongly focused on its business objectives and strategies. The second F stands for fast. The organization believes in speedy actions in whatever we do and wherever we do. The third one is friendly. The organization believes in the practices strong people orientation, strong people involvement, right? Practices of strong people orientation is pretty important over here when we say friendly as the third F. The fourth one stands for flexible. Believes in the spirit of innovation to respond to changing business situations, respond to changing different situations that happens, and we should be flexible enough to be the way things move, and that's the culture that's been promoted. Fun. Believing in having fun at workplace, which focuses on complex business problems, right? Fun is an important part of the culture, right? When people enjoy what they are doing, the kind of results what you expect is very, very, very different. Elements of positive work culture, when I talk, it should be an equal opportunity employment. Be positive in all respects. Set up work culture task force. Be empowered. Work with creativity, improve the quality of work life, include the policy of achievement and enjoyment. Rewards and recognition plays a key role over here, right? Unit-wise reward system, excellence reward, set up parents group, family, friends, working practice. There could be n number of things that can be brought in where we recognize every individual's performance and we reward them accordingly. That's how you actually build a wonderful work culture. Local culture. Local culture plays a vital role in businesses. Discrimination or reaction to other cultures presents in the workplace itself due to preconceived biases. Businesses naturally try to discourage such discrimination, which can be unhealthy for businesses to create serious, and it could create a very serious problem. Local culture can also lead to cross-country misunderstanding and difficulties in negotiation, marketing and communication. Even if discrimination is not present, right, it is very, very difficult. But it's very critical for us to understand local cultures where we are working, because when we are working for somebody in their place, in their work environment, it's important for us to know it, understand it and work accordingly.
Few common goals like adaptability and individuality matter when it
Comes to the local culture, the business tries to make its workforce as adaptable as possible. This teaches employees to learn new cultures wherever possible and moves to accept changes.
different meanings of misunderstandings will be taken in stride while focusing on business goals.
If the company can create a habit of acceptance of people as individuals, they can often avoid many of the problems associated with the discrimination. When we say workplace culture, workplace acts as own nation and often develops their own mini cultures, right? A lot of mini cultures develop during that, and we should work towards this. The workplace culture governs management, how employees think of themselves and the task they are given. It also controls what is permissible in the workplace, right? With regardless the company rules, and how the business looks at its customers and outsiders. By controlling this culture, a business can control morale, attitude, and other important facets of employee behavior. A common strategy, when I would say, there are no single goal for changing cultural behavior in a workplace, since decisions are based on company strategy. Some businesses interested in flat organization wants to create an independent culture where employees are free to make up their own minds and act creatively. Other companies want to create a culture of obedience, or a culture that focuses more on the emotional needs. Changes depends on the goals and potential solutions.